I've got another angler speaker lined up. Hunter, if you want to come speak, Hunter is a member of the Drury University fishing team. I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell him all about you.
My name is Hunter Austin. I fish for Drury University up in Springfield, Missouri. I just live down in Wagner. I'm from Oklahoma. I fished Oklahoma high school divisions for 4 years. And a couple things, you know, I really want to cover today is academics towards fishing. I mean, even if you want to fish in college, professionally, whatnot, academics is a big thing. Confidence, practicing, and just a few of those key deals. First, I want to get into academics. Academics is a big thing because I don't care, fishing, sports, everything comes last. If you're gonna, even for a job, if you're gonna go to college to fish, first thing is academics. They look towards your GPA, they'll look at ACTs, they'll just see what kind of person you are, because that, just by your grades, by your GPAs, things like that, it can tell them maybe what kind of person you are, if you're a hard worker, if you're a slacker, things like that. And so that's really one of the key things to be focusing on is really your academics, because you can't do nothing without it. And another thing I want to go over is confidence. Confidence in baits such as me, when I was in high school, I didn't like throwing A-rigs. I never threw it. I didn't even throw an A-rig till I got to college. I was a big flipping and pitcher. That's all I did is threw Texas rigs and jigs all day. Every now and then a crankbait. One of the biggest key things in college you'll learn is flexibility and learning to be flexible. Never go into a tournament thinking, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. I'm going to have these three rods tied on all day. I'm going to go hit this chunk rock bank all day. Never do that, because you're already beat. You're already beat them. The fish already beat you. You get out there and they ain't going to do that. They're going to completely switch up on you. You know, even when people are on them, they might have 2, 3 rods on deck. I'm one of those guys, I always have 14 rods on deck, because I'll pull up to a bank, I'll maybe crank it, and then I'll see a couple areas, I'm like, hey, I want to drag something here. I want to throw a top water on something here. You always want to be flexible, because they can switch on you just like that. And shoot, so that, being flexible and confidence, like I was saying, A-rig, never threw that till college. I'd say on confidence, one big thing you can do is when you go out one day to practice, whatnot, keep that one bait in your hand all day. It's kind of like Ryan was talking about with his glide baits. I never threw a glide bait until I first got to college, and just looking at that thing, I'm like, what in the heck is going to eat this thing? You know, and it really took a lot of throwing it. I went out probably 4 or 5 times, and I just kept it in my hand all day, seeing what kind of structure, what kind of bite it is. And finally, after catching even just 6 bites in those 5 days I went, I started to build a little more confidence in it, where I'll go to a lake that's even dirty water. When I first started throwing, you know, I thought they had to be able to see that thing and everything else, but no, it can be dirty water, it can be stuff like that. So really key on confidence is being able to go throw that bait all day, keep it in your hand. Like today, you know, I never really had a day full of A-rigs, and I actually went out to 10 killer today, and I kept the A-rig in my hand all day. I didn't throw anything else, and you know, I got a few bites on it, and I built up my confidence on it, and now I kind of like A-rigs. I'd go back and do it all again tomorrow. But that confidence,
I can relate. Let me touch on that for a second. You're good. I can relate to exactly what he's saying, guys. He's saying, like, he didn't fish an Alabama rig at all in high school. And, you know, like my weakness when I first got on the tournament trail was, man, you would never catch me in 100 years having a spinning rod, ever. Or you would not catch me out deep fishing, ever. I had zero confidence. I wanted to be Denny Brower. I wanted to flip all day long, 5 foot of water or less. I got my teeth kicked in the first year on top 150s, finished like 120 out of 150 people. Fast forward a little bit, I developed my confidence in a spinning rod. Like 2-3 years later, I won a tournament, drop shot in 40 feet of water because I had to get better. So what Hunter is saying, take your weaknesses, you've got time, make them your strengths. Every day when you go out there fishing that pond, that river, the lake, wherever you're at, take time to work on your weaknesses. That's how you're going to become a much better angler. He went out today, fished 10 killer all day long, got just a few bites, but he was working on a weakness he has in that Alabama rig. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, there's a couple different habits that, like, how many of y'all do you want to fish college? Give amount of, how many of y'all want to fish professionally? About the same amount of people. Well, a couple key things I have to say about that is make habits now. Being flexible, getting these confidence in these baits, and my biggest thing I think I would have to say is coming to practice. I mean, it's great to get that advice from your boater captain and stuff, don't get me wrong, but try to learn how to find these fish on your own is the biggest thing I can tell you. You get out there, like shoot in Texas. I went out to Pickwick Lake or Alabama, and dude, my mind was blown. And they got that Tennessee River chain, and they got all that water generating. I was like, man, what do I do here? My first thought was to, call people, but you can't do that, especially in these college events. They shut this off. So biggest deal on that when it comes to practicing, I know I was that kid. I never got to practice for a high school tournament. I just kind of went out and winged it. So my biggest strength and strategy was research, looking up past tournaments, past weights, what that was. Maybe even looking on, like, even the MLF pages, they'll tell you how certain things is won, what kind of areas, things like that, and you can go reflect on that. And another big thing, I'm sure Coach Evers has told you, is Google Maps. Google Maps is a big deal. I'll go on there. Sometimes you can see different rock structures. Like, one day I might go out and I'll see like steep chunk rock, and you might not find any more in this area that you're catching these fish off this chunk rock. But you can go to that maps real quick, and you can see on the north side of the lake there's that exact looking chunk rock, and you can go fish that. So a big deal about that is don't always try to rely on your boat captains. There's so much information and tools out there nowadays that you can go on there and try to just build this up yourself. And that's another confidence thing. If you can go out, find fish on your own, it's going to make your confidence build up that much more. And honestly, that's what helped me. That's why I tell you this now, because I got to college, even all through high school, I tried to rely on other people's information. I tried to rely on what my boater captain could find. I got to college, I can't find no fish. What am I gonna do? And that's when I kicked it in my mind, hey, I need to research, I need to practice, I need to go do these things on my own. I didn't even get good at live scope till here in the last 7 months maybe. I ain't gonna say I'm good and everything like that, but I learned a whole lot more. And another thing on that practice is learning your graphs. Like, that day you're gonna go out, try that one single bait all day, make another day to go out and just learn your graphs all day. Don't even make a cast, just go out, run your graphs, look at the different contour lines, look at the different, what certain fish may look like, because you'll go out and you might see a ball, like you got your side scan on, you might see a ball of fish, what you think it is, and you can relate to that because you can, shoot, I lost my train of thought here, sorry guys. But you can go, what you can do with that is you might see a ball of fish, and you can go down to the other side of the lake and you see that ball of fish. Well, you might have balls like that, and you might just have specks. The best thing to do after that is scan this whole day, waypoint all that, and that next day you come back out and you're gonna try that one single bait or not, you can use that to find these fish again. That's why you waypoint it, see if you can come and find them again, practice doing that and finding these fish and running these waypoints, and then you can use that one single bait you're trying to get better at to target these fish. Those couple things I want to hit was academics, confidence, practicing, and for you guys that want to fish college, if you want to get those coaches' eyes, catch their eyes and everything else, the biggest thing you can do is show the work you want to do. They'll be looking at your academics, and try to fish other tournaments besides high school, like ABAs, BFLs. They see those finishes too, and those, you just get a whole rap sheet of all these finishes and all these different tournaments you fish. You might not even finish that good in those tournaments, but they see that you're trying to work better and trying to enter in all these different competitions. They're gonna be like, hey, I want that kid, because he's trying, he's working his butt off. That's
a huge key what he's saying, guys, and I really haven't touched on it to y'all I speak a lot across the country, and I always tell people the fastest way to the top is to fish the co-angler side of events. I don't care if it's the BFLs, the ABAs, the Opens, the Toyota Series, but when you guys turn 16, you can go be a co-angler, or you don't even have to be 16, and like if you're a member of a bass club, or we started our own around here, you can be a co-angler without a boat. You will learn something every time you go out there fishing with somebody. There's no quicker way to learn. I don't care how good or bad you think they are. You can learn the wrong way to do stuff, or you will learn bodies of water. The more times you're on the water, the better you are. And that's exactly what he's saying, and that those coaches are going to look at, hey, you went and fished the BFLs, great. They don't really care where you finished, but they're seeing that you're out there fishing other things than just high school.
Yeah, that's what I did through high school. I didn't have a lot of resources like that, so I fished. The year I turned 16, I fished all the BFLs as a co every single tournament. I fished all the ABAs as a co every single tournament. And from that, I took in the different kind of mindset these guys have, the different tactics they have, to seeing what mistakes they made. I could learn from that. What things they did right, and I could learn from that. And that was one of the biggest tools.
Yeah, that's huge.
It really is one of the biggest tools.
I got a question for you. So in college fishing, like, you've got some teammates, I don't know if you're one of them, they're going down to Florida to compete in a tournament. Does the college cover all your expenses to go practice down there for a week?
Yeah, ours does.
You guys hear that? Like, if you can make it to college, you get to go fish in Florida, all your expenses paid. Another question I have, do you have to have a boat to be on the college team at Drury?
You do not.
You do not have to have a boat. That's another good thing. We don't have to come up with a $70,000 boat to get there. Tell us, how do you take care of your grades when you're going to be away from school for a week down in Florida?
Like I said, grades come first. The night before tournament or the night before practice, we'll sit down, do our homework. Before we rig that rod, before we sit in that boat.
Really?
Do our homework. That's just for me anyways. I will sit there, I will go back in the hotel or back in the B&B, whatever. I will sit there and get every bit of homework. I mean, I might get done at 1 in the morning, and then I'll go sit in that boat and I'll rig up.
Got to want it to do that, don't you?
That's the most important thing.
Cool, cool, cool. You guys got questions for Hunter? Yes, sir. Bo, go ahead.
What's the biggest tournament you've won?
Biggest tournament I have won. Shoot.
Man, I'm going to answer a question for you. I started fishing the top 150s, or early in my career. I didn't win any tournaments. I finished second, third, fourth, or fifth. I don't think you have to be a college angler and have a resume where you've won tournaments. I mean, lots of people can get lucky once or twice, to win a tournament. A coach is going to look at consistency. A 10th place finish and a 10th place finish and a 10th, that angler's consistent. So, I mean, I don't ever judge an angler, especially a young angler, on what his biggest tournament is he ever won. It may just be the Wasso Bass Club, which is a really hard tournament to win, but don't have to set your sights, hey, I can't make it in this sport unless you win an event. You truly don't have to do that. You just need to be consistent. But I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to answer that.
To answer your question, I got two answers for it. For college.
Moment, like your most exciting moment.
Most exciting definitely would be, we did get a win this last college year, me and my partner did. We had 100 boats. It was a School of the Year points tournament, and that actually was won on glide baits, believe it or not.
And y'all won it?
We won it.
Where was that at?
That was Lake of the Ozarks.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a wild day. It was a lot of fish on glides, but in high school I never won a tournament. I never won an ABA, I never won a BFL. I did have a lot of top 10s though, and you bet that I was always one of the ones at the top. My senior year, I finished 3rd at Eufaula. That was the first tournament of the year. I finished 20th at Keystone the first day. The second day I finished 8th. And then Grand, I finished 20th. And then back to Eufaula for state, I finished 5th. And
those were the high school tournaments?
High school tournaments for Bass Nation. That first tournament we got 3rd, I was with the partner. Those next tournaments, I fished by myself on all those. And I was still up there on the top. My biggest thing was determination and drive. I wanted to prove that I could do it without a partner. I mean, it wasn't that I kicked my partner out, don't get me wrong. Things happened where he couldn't fish no more, but I wanted to prove that even by myself that I could do this. So I ain't gonna say it's your wins ain't what reflect you. It's definitely gonna be your results. Now I'm not gonna say like top results, but it's consistency really. I mean, like our coach looks for, he don't look for guys that win a tournament and then get 80th, 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 second, 80th, 80th. He's looking for those guys that gets 20th, 20th, 30th, 30th, 20th, 10th, 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 things like that. There's a lot of consistency behind it is what they look for. Any other questions?
I didn't know like how if you had leagues like in your regions where you fish in your college, like the Big 12, Big 10 type thing. Not that I didn't know. Do you fish all over the country?
Yeah. It's the division of college don't make no difference.
Yeah.
We all go to the same things. Like we'll have like MLF, they have college term. Right now they're doing the opens. They used to have divisions. Like for Central Division, it's like for all the central colleges such as Missouri or for Missouri, Wisconsin, all those. But now MLF is doing the opens to where there's no divisions anymore. You gotta go fish all of them to have a chance at that school of the year through that, which they got some in like, I think they got 2 in Clear Lake, California this year.
Really?
And they got 1 in Florida, 1 up at the Potomac.
They had 1 at Texas. That was going on the day before we were there.
Yep, and of course we ain't gonna go the California ones. That's a little too much money.
How many kids are on your team there at Drury?
30. We got 30 kids on the team.
And you guys have competitions to see who goes to certain events, is that correct? Like interleague events? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so we have what we call our qualifiers. Like we just had one last weekend on Stockton. What this is, we go to different, I mean it's Missouri lakes, but we go to different one of these Missouri lakes at different times of the year. And we'll have, right now this is the first year we're doing them actually, because we never had this many kids before. This is the most kids we've ever had. We have 18 freshmen. And so we're coming into our 3rd qualifier. We've already used 2 of the MLF college tournaments this fall to like relate off that. And what coach is going off this is not our places, but our weight. He's adding our weights from these tournaments up, and whoever is the top 6 out of all these combined weights from the qualifiers we have and the 2 tournaments this fall will be who's going to be the main 6 teams to go to these FAR tournaments and get everything full paid for. And if anyone else wants to go out of that top 6, he'll help with, I think it's like half or 3/4 or something like that, and you got to pay the extra quarter, whatnot. But we're really fighting for that top 6 to see who will get all their stuff paid for. Yep.
Yes, sir. Does the college provide boats? That's different for all colleges. Some colleges do have boats. I don't believe Drury has. You guys don't?
He's looking forward to it in the future for trying to get team boats, which we work with Bass Pro and all those guys, and we're trying to get some like Z18s and stuff. I mean, this ain't anywhere now, but hopefully in the future. But places like, I'm trying to think of what
Bethel,
school. Bethel
Auburn.
does.
There is schools out there that have boats.
ETBU, they
East Texas Baptist.
They work with Skeeter. I know Skeeter provides them some boats, but we don't. However, though. So.
Any more questions? Manhunter, thank you for your time, buddy. Really appreciate you. A whole bunch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Hunter. Really, really do appreciate it.